This is going to be pretty quick, but I was just thinking about this recently and I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to vent just a little bit. With every new video, it builds on all of the things that I've talked about in the past. So I've talked about, not being the preference, not being picked. I've talked about, you know, uh, men and women and dating dynamics and, women enabling men's bad behavior and all of this stuff. I've talked about all of that. And I don't know, maybe this is still redundant, but I still want to talk about it. Now, if I were to summarize everything just real quick, right? I still think most men suck. Not all men, but most men. And I do think that a lot of it has to do with women enabling the behavior. But I gotta say that if you're a woman who does want a man who maybe, you feel the same way as me about the entire thing, but you're like, but you know what? I love, I want love, and I want to find a man. And I've been thinking about this from my perspective, but I think it's kind of hard. Like, if statistically speaking, there already is a small number of things, right? So like if you go with what I say, which is, most men suck, that means, there are men that don't, but they're in the minority. Well, the thing is, the minority okay, we still live in a patriarchy, right? And there's still the whole thing with preferences, being the preference, being, the one that everyone wants. And it's like, I feel like it's so much easier as a woman to potentially get a good man if you're the woman that every man wants anyway. Because if you're the woman that every man wants, then every man includes the good man. Your chances of finding that good man go up significantly when everyone wants you. But if everyone doesn't want you, if you're not the preference, if you're not what these men want, then it's like, you already had a slim chance of actually finding someone who, you were going to vibe with. But then it's even lower. It's even lower because out of those few people, now some of them still have to like you. And it's like, it's very disheartening, And I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying that people who aren't the preference don't get picked, because that would be a lie. Non-preferences get picked all the time. And there are non-preferences who are hailed as very beautiful, are hailed as stunning women, are valued. I've said that before as well, and I'm going to say it again because it's definitely true. But as I've also stated before, the bar is so much different. When you're the non-preference, you have to be so much more exceptional to be in the same league as someone, or a similar league as someone who is the preference. And so I think it just makes it harder to navigate things. I don't think it's impossible, but it's like when you already don't have a great chance, like when things are already bad, the last thing you need is a disadvantage. You know what I mean? So it just kind of sucks. Because, like, I don't know. Sometimes I think, like, well, what if I did come across a guy and, I ended up liking him. He was a good guy, whatever. Because even though, I've said that I don't want a relationship, I'm not open to it, but I'm, if he could convince me, then, I would do it if he could convince me. But it's like, I was just thinking about, like, all right, cool, but, like, what are the chances of that happening? Like, what's the probability that I'm actually going to run into this? I mean, like, really think about it, right? Like, first of all, he has to find me attractive, which, do a lot of guys find me attractive? Well, if I were to base it off of how much I'm pursued, then the answer is no. The answer is no. Men do not find me attractive. Literally can't remember the last time a man complimented me. I don't think it was that long ago, but still, like, I've kind of been noticing how, like, particularly hasn't been happening. But yeah, like, so he would have to find me attractive, and then even more unlikely, I would have to find him attractive, and he would have to actually be a good guy, which encompasses a lot of things that I've talked about, so I'm not going to go into it here. But the chances of that happening are just, I feel like they're so slim. But, the reason why I've been particularly thinking about it is because I recently met who I believe is one of my cousins, his girlfriend. Now, I've never met a girlfriend of his before. I guess he's had them. If so, they were never serious enough to introduce to anyone. I was surprised that I got introduced to her. I find it kind of random, honestly. I don't know why it happened. Now, granted, he's pretty young, in my opinion. I mean, he's only like 23 right now. So, how serious is this? How serious should it be? I don't know. But, let me say this about my cousin. And, like, look, this ain't on no weird-ish, okay? This is just me being observant, right? So, he is, I think, at least from what I hear on the internet, what a lot of women want. He's dark, he's tall, and he's an attractive guy, like, he's in shape. He's got a nice facial structure and everything. Got like a deep voice too. So I feel like he's the type of guy who a lot of women are looking for. And he has hustle, he grinds. He's got ambition as well, And his girl, well, at least I'm assuming this girl. Now, granted, I was a little surprised. I did think that she would be like, if we're gonna go along with the preference thing and everything, I thought she'd be like lighter or whatever. But aside from that, she was pretty much the type of girl who I would have expected that he would have ended up with. Like, she's so pretty, like she has a great body. She's super nice. Like, she was really sweet. She's like tall. She's got a nice smile. Like, and again, don't really know how serious they are or whatever, but just, I don't know, seeing them together, not that they were like being lovey-dovey or anything, like there was no PDA, but I'm just saying, like, just them together, like as a couple in general, like that visual, and then just thinking about, how, well, I mean, I don't know what they're like in their, them, but if they, they call each other every day, if they go on dates, stuff like that, then, I mean, it just got me thinking about it more so, and it got me feeling some type of way. I'm not gonna lie. I shouldn't, though, because first of all, again, for like the whatever time, I don't know what their dynamic is for real. So it could be terrible, but it could be good. And, me being more, like, when I look at it more positively, I just think, assuming that things are going well, it's like, okay, they're in a good relationship. They seem like they would go for each other. Like, that seems nice. That must be nice. I mean, I don't know if he pursued her, or I don't know really. I asked him how they met. He said he knew her from high school. I didn't pry any more than that, because as far as I'm concerned, it's really not my business. So I don't want to pry. But I think even that, like the fact that they knew each other beforehand, like they probably talked, whatever. I don't know if they were friends. I don't know their story. But it just seems like it's potentially really nice. And if things are going well for them, if they do decide to get together and they stay together and they have a good life together, then honestly, I'll really be happy for them. I mean, I know I only met her once and it wasn't for like super long, but she was really nice. So, it would be cool if they ended up together and everything and they were happy. But I gotta say that there was a certain amount of envy that I had there as far as just like, I could see why, especially in a patriarchy, she would be considered like valued, because she did have the look, and she, again, super nice girl. And then, she has youth on her side too. So I don't know. I imagine that she probably has had many a guy try to talk to her or successfully talk to her, whatever. That's what I would think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would think that would be the case. I'd be extremely shocked if it wasn't, since I feel like that's the case for most girls anyway. And then just especially with how she presented herself, I'd be really surprised if that wasn't the case, so I don't know. I wonder what that's like. And even if we look at it strictly from a patriarchal standpoint, if we look at it from, men just want to use women, whatever, like, honestly, and maybe it might sound bad, but thinking that someone, when they look at you, they see enough value where they want you with them because they think that you would value them that much, that seems pretty, like, I don't know. It would stroke my ego. But that is not what I've experienced. And I haven't had a guy who, I was really into pursue me really at all, which is a blow to my ego and everything. And it's another reason why I feel like I may as well have the mentality that I have, as far as like just not not really hoping for love, not really looking for it. I just think if I did, I would be setting myself up, because of, what I said at the beginning. I just feel like the type of guy I want is already in the minority, and in my experience, he don't want me anyway. So, like, why even hurt myself in that, I'm sitting over here like, please want me or whatever, it's no point, no reason in thinking that. Like, it is what it is. So I might as well just be at peace and keep working on myself and, look good for me, even if I'm not really looking good for nobody else. Or to be more specific, not looking good for anyone else who I would actually be interested in, because I have always been and will always be of the mindset that every woman will be desirable by some man, but not necessarily the one you want. But some man gonna find you attractive. Not always a good thing, though. But yeah, so it is what it is. I will say it would be pretty nice if unexpectedly I got to experience, like I said, a guy that I like me back, and feeling valuable, and him actually being worth my time, and not just, just someone sleazy or whatever, which is kind of all I have experience with in my little bit of experience. So yeah, but I'm not gonna hold my breath for it either. I'm really not. I know it's probably not gonna happen, so it is what it is. But okay, I think that is gonna be the end of my little vent session. I like having these, they make me feel better. But I have some other video ideas that I guess I'll post. Maybe someone will listen to them. In any case, if you listen to this, thanks. Hopefully you got something out of it, and